Welcome to my Week 10 playoff projections. Let's start with the AFC. Even with their loss in Pittsburgh, the Indianapolis Colts are still projected to be the AFC's top seed and have a 90% chance to make the playoffs. Chris Ballard made a huge splash at the deadline, trading for All-Pro corner Sauce Gardner, giving up 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell in the deal. Indy's defense has allowed 10 touchdowns to receivers aligned wide this season, the 4th most in the league. Gardner immediately fills a need for first-year defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. The Buffalo Bills are projected to win the AFC East and have an 87% chance to make the playoffs for the 7th straight season. Josh Allen and company won their 5th straight regular season game against the Chiefs in Week 9, which could come into play down the stretch in tie-breaking scenarios. Buffalo has won 2 straight out of their bye, and they'll look to keep it going Sunday against the reeling Dolphins.
Make some plays, play for each other, fly around, have some fun.
After the Chiefs' loss against the Bills, Sean Payton's team is now projected to win the AFC West and have a 74% chance to make the playoffs. Denver picked up their 7th straight win on TNF and now sits at 8-2. They have a mini-bye to prep for a huge home game against said Chiefs. If they're able to hold serve at home, it will put them in firm control in the race for the division.
1, 2, 3,
The Ravens have a 66% chance to make the playoffs. Baltimore has won 2 straight after their bye and now have Lamar Jackson healthy. John Harbaugh's team has a tough test Sunday in Minnesota before a favorable stretch against the Browns, Jets, and Bengals before the first of 2 showdowns with Pittsburgh in Week 14.
Caught Andrews in, touchdown Ravens!
Mike Vrabel's team just continues winning. They have now stacked 6 straight. They have an 82% chance to make the playoffs, and Drake May continues to lead the league in completion percentage, and he's thrown multiple touchdowns in 7 of his last 8 games. He did have 2 turnovers against the Falcons last week and will need to get that under control this week against Todd Bowles' defense. The Kansas City Chiefs are projected to be the 6th seed this season with a 71% chance to make the playoffs. That would set up a 3rd meeting with the Broncos. The Chiefs have now doubled their loss total from last season, with 3 coming against teams also contending for an AFC wildcard spot in the Chargers, Jaguars, and Bills. Andy Reid is notoriously good after a bye, and KC will need that to continue in a huge Week 11 matchup in Denver.
How much energy are you going to bring?
The Steelers are now projected as a wild card after an unexpected win over the Colts. They have a 54% chance of making the tournament and would travel to Buffalo under current projections. Pittsburgh forced 6 turnovers last week after not having any in their 3 prior games. Pittsburgh now ranks 2nd in the league with 16 takeaways, 11 of which came in 2 games against the Patriots and Colts. Mike Tomlin's defense will need to play more consistently if they're going to make the playoffs. Moving Jalen Ramsey to safety could help. As for teams in the hunt, well, Jim Harbaugh's team dropped out of the projected field in part due to the loss of Joe Alt for the season. LA still has a better-than-not chance of making it, currently at 51%, but Alt's loss is huge. Justin Herbert has been pressured on dropbacks 10% more often without Alt on the field over the last season and a half. The Chargers have 2 big games with potential AFC wildcard teams before their Week 12 bye in the Steelers and Jaguars. Houston narrowly missed an opportunity to pick up a win over another potential AFC wildcard team Sunday by squandering a 4th quarter lead against the Broncos, and now have a 45% chance to make the playoffs. The Texans have another huge game against the Jaguars Sunday after C.J. Stroud suffered a concussion in Week 10. DeMeco Ryans' defense, and specifically the corners, have been lights out lately, but they're going to need more from the offense if they're going to make a run. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a 43% chance to make the playoffs. The Jaguars' overtime win in Vegas keeps them within striking distance, but I don't have them making the tournament. The offense must continue to work the kinks out under first-year head coach Liam Cohen, and the defense desperately needs Devin Lloyd back and healthy. The Cincinnati Bengals have a 23% chance to make the playoffs, in part because they have a 13% chance of winning the AFC North. The Bengals continue to find new ways to lose and have allowed 27-plus points in 8 straight games. They've lost the last 2 weeks despite scoring 80 points in those games, 12 more than any other team in weeks 8 and 9 combined. The Cleveland Browns exit their bye with a 9% chance to make the playoffs. Kevin Stefanski gave up play-calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. Let's see if that gives the offense the spark it needs. Moving over to the NFC. Coming out of their Week 9 bye, Philadelphia has a 91% chance of making the playoffs and is projected to be the NFC's top seed. The Eagles come out of their bye with tough tests against a Packers team coming off a bad loss and the Lions. Saquon Barkley broke out in Week 9 against the Giants with 174 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Sirianni's team is going to need Saquon to continue stacking these type of stat lines if they're going to repeat.
Stop talking to me about it, baby. Come on.
Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are projected to be the number 2 seed in the NFC and have a 90% chance to make the playoffs. Tampa's bye came at a good time after lackluster offensive performances against the Lions and Saints. They were banged up on that side of the ball and should be healthier coming out of their bye. Hopefully, Bucky Irving is nearing a return to the lineup as the run game needs a boost.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
The Detroit Lions are 5-3 with 2 losses in division. They're a slight favorite to win the division over the Packers, according to my projections. Dan Campbell's team has a 42% chance of taking the NFC North, while the Packers are at 41%. This would make the Lions the 3 seed, and currently they have a 79% chance of making the playoffs.
That's how you win games against teams like that, man.
The Seattle Seahawks have won 3 straight and are coming off a dominant win on Sunday night against the Commanders. They have a 74% chance of making the playoffs and a 34% chance of winning the NFC West, which is the only division where 3 teams have at least a 30% chance. Mike McDonald's team is 34%, the Rams are at 33%, and the 49ers are at 30% to take the NFC West.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
The Green Bay Packers are coming off a bad loss to Carolina, but still have a 78% chance of making the playoffs. They couldn't capitalize on the Lions' loss against the Vikings and are still projected as a wild card. Matt LaFleur's team has lost twice this season to the Browns and Panthers. Plus, they have a tie against the Cowboys. This team needs to quit playing down to their competition.
Trust yourself. Play with your heart, all right? Just trust it. Don't overthink it.
Sean McVay's Rams have a 74% chance to make the playoffs. They're still right there in the battle for the NFC West as well, with both matchups remaining against the Seahawks. Currently, this would set up as a wildcard matchup against Detroit, Matthew Stafford's former team. Stafford has 9 touchdown passes in his last 2 games and leads the league with 21 this season as he looks to win his first MVP.
A dazzling darts from Matthew Stafford.
The San Francisco 49ers took care of business against the Giants in Week 9 and are still a heavy favorite to take the NFC's final playoff spot with a 65% chance of making the playoffs. Week 10 gives us another game in the Kyle Shanahan-Sean McVay series, with the 49ers already taking the first matchup in Week 5. Getting a win Sunday would significantly boost the 49ers' chances to win the NFC West. Moving to the NFC teams in the hunt. The Chicago Bears almost squandered a 14-point lead in the final 2 minutes against the Bengals Sunday. A loss there would have been catastrophic for their playoff chances. As it stands, they still have just a 38% chance to make the playoffs, largely due to how good the NFC North is this season. The Minnesota Vikings came up with a huge win in Detroit Sunday in J.J. McCarthy's return under center. Kevin O'Connell's team has just a 30% chance of making the playoffs due to a brutal upcoming schedule, with remaining games against the Ravens, Seahawks, Lions, and 2 against the Packers. The Panthers are 5-4 this season, but have just a 19% chance of making the playoffs. Carolina has a negative 35-point differential this season, despite a winning record. They do still have both games against the Buccaneers, so they can still win the division if they take both of those matchups. The Dallas Cowboys have a 17% chance to make the playoffs. For a team that's lost 2 in a row and 3 of 4, Dallas made a trade acting as if they're a contender this season, sending a first and second round pick to the Jets along with Mozzie Smith for Quinnen Williams. Williams is a stud, but Dallas may have been better suited keeping their draft capital from the Micah Parsons trade and building through the draft. The Washington Commanders season took a dramatic downturn in Week 9 with the injury to Jaden Daniels. Dan Quinn's team is 3-6. They've lost 4 straight, and now they have to turn things around without their star quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons have lost 3 straight and have just a 14% chance to make the playoffs. A tough Week 10 matchup against the Colts team, who are coming off of a disappointing loss, will be a very difficult place to turn things around. Jonathan Gannon named Jacoby Brissett his starting quarterback for Week 10 against the Seahawks. Arizona has a 12% chance to make the playoffs after snapping their 5-game losing streak on Monday night against the Cowboys. And those are my Week 10 playoff projections powered by AWS.